achieve at every phase. While we want a country that works and functions, meaningful change politically takes about 2 to 3 decades. So this is to tell you that some things we would achieve on the short term, some things we will achieve on the long term. Long term wise, we are looking at to get to a point whereby for people to run for office, they start preparing about 2 years in advance. It's not the case of 1 week or 2 months to election, people start running. We are trying to get ourselves to a point where we say, or for you to run for office as an obedient, this is 1, 2, 3 processes that you must complete. You probably, let me give an example. The School of Public Policy and Governance that is run by Madam Obiese Kwesili. You must probably have completed a 3-month course there. You must have done this. You must have done this. You must have demonstrated you have done XYZ to be able to achieve before you can become eligible. So this is the long-term vision that we're hoping that we will get to, whereby there are minimum benchmarks and minimum standards for candidates to emerge. However, before we are able to structure ourselves to get to that point, what we have at the interim now is that people need to demonstrate themselves to be acceptable within their local places. It's not that somebody just sits anywhere, you've not been participating, you've not been engaging your people. They just come in and say, oh, I want to run. In certain places, it might fly because what is happening is maybe you go to a place that they don't have any strong candidates and they're just looking for any candidate and then they might back you. But in other places, we're beginning to see across the Obidient movement where certain candidates are told, sorry, we cannot support you because we don't know where you are. This other person, you might be coming with a lot of resources, but this other person we know. This other person we have been working with, we can vouch for this person. Hence, this is the person we're going to back. So these conversations are already happening across the obedience movement nationally. We would be trying to compile names, but we will be vetting those names through the local structures. And the local structures should be able to give an account of who you are before we can all throw our weight behind you. So that's basically where we are at the moment. But why I'm saying that is because it's not yet all perfect with us. The elections are already before us. Certain things cannot be in place. But long-term feature, probably by the next 2031 election, we would already be coming up maybe 3 years before the election to put out as a movement, this is our minimum benchmark. And if you know you want to be eligible, start your processes. Don't be a last-minute person because we feel like leadership should be intentional. You should be able to sit down, articulate your thoughts, know what you want to do, not the one that you are saying, I want to run, but you just give me like 3 months, I will go and propose my proposals and my manifesto. No, you should have sat down, done your consultations, done your surveys and all of that. So I don't know if that answers the question. In second question that you asked is about the funding. Now, with funding, one thing that happened in the last election, because we had multiple heads, everybody getting funds to different points. Now, there are certain things that are established, which certain events have demonstrated to us. In Nigeria, it's a low-trust society. Hence, people always want to put their money where they think it's already working. We saw a typical example with NSAS, whereby immediately people could see that the funds were being utilized for something. We saw the massive input. But on a layer to that is the fact that Nigerians and their tech usage do not particularly enjoy clicking multiple times. So if Nigerians have to do a tedious process of verifying who it is that they are giving their money to, then you might lose a lot of support there because people will be like, oh, I'm just sitting on my phone now. I see this thing. Oh, it's a good idea to support, but oh, I need to now check whether this is a valid organization. Who is this? But if we're able to do that pooling as a unified structure where we say, okay, this is the central purse we are pulling money into. And this money that you know that you're supporting the movement with for a better Nigeria, 10% will be used at the center level, at the national level, to be able to carry out activities. 40% will go to your local, that's your state. The other 50%, that's 50% or 40% go straight to your local levels, right? So these formulas are things that we're working out now in terms of sitting down to have the understanding at the global colleges level. I think that's some of the issues that are pending for like next week conversation to decide on what are going to be the formulas, because When we start opening up to funding, we want to make sure that everybody knows where the funds is going to go to. So if you come in and give us 100 naira, you know that 20 is going to the national, 30 is going to this point and that point. But most importantly, is the accountability bit of it. Is the fact that one thing that we would insist is a regular update of every penny spent. Every penny spent. We will be able to work out, should we do a quarterly accounting system whereby every quarter on your website, on your web email, if people notice, you'll find out that some people got emails. If you are registered on the website, when it was ADC registration, you got emails telling you go and register on the ADC. We are hoping that if we are able to increase our capacity in media in the next few weeks, we will be able to start sending out our regular newsletters on a bi-weekly basis to give updates. And that is the same process we're going to take with funding, is the sense that on a quarterly basis, you will get updates of every penny that goes in, right? So there are models to that we're all sorting out, and we will all be making that decision together. When we come to spaces like this, we're expecting people, if you have an idea, bring the idea. If you feel like it's a proposal, go on the website and submit that. That way we can be able to get the best idea of what. And if you remember my first introduction, in fact, we want to build a loop that everybody's idea matters. I am not an accounting person. There might be somebody here who works in the Big Four, who is top-notch accounting, who has been able to design something significant for an organization somewhere in the world. Because one thing I always share in mind is the fact that every top organization in the world, there's a Nigerian there. And if we can bring all this, our talents and everything, to improve our country, then we will have one of the greatest countries in the world. So if anybody has an idea that they think this is a better way to structure the funding and ensure transparency, because at the core of it, like I said earlier, is that Nigeria is a low trust society. So to be able to win people trust and get them to donate is the fact that you must be 100% transparent. That's what we're standing for, just like our principal stands for, that digital and the analog mechanisms, in the sense that we are tasked to be your state, your local government, your ward, and all that. So immediately, it automatically populates on your own page, your leaders for you. Now, you don't even need their phone numbers. Right in there, you can communicate with them. In addition, all of these leaders, we are trying to make sure that they all have their access point whereby they can schedule meetings on that platform. So if I am from, for example, in Alimosho local government, I will get a notification when there is a meeting of Alimosho local government. And that way I can attend wherever the meeting is scheduled. And when I get there, then I now do the fiscal issue. And then decisions are taken that are local to that people. Because one thing we must understand in Nigeria is, as much as we're a nation, our perspective differs. What politics feels like in Bielsa is very different from what politics feels like in Sokoto. And when you start crystallizing it down to the various local together in that small perspective, so that they can collectively determine what works for them. We don't want to just sit down at the nation and say, oh, we want to do 1 million man march tomorrow, or we want to do a cleaning day tomorrow. We want people to make decisions at those local levels, what matters to them, what politics means to them. And collectively, we can amplify, we can support and make sure that the leadership of Nigeria matters at every point, and our obedient people are at the forefront of driving that message home. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Chukwudi. We've already spent 1 hour on this conversation. You see how quickly time is passing. So I know everybody is raring to go now. A lot of people are raring to go now, and we're getting into that interaction. That's the next section we're getting into now. And I think we should do it this way. We will have questions, engagement, just coming with questions about anything that you are concerned about. Even if you have it in your head as something that you think should be done, you can turn it into a question. I mean, everyone here knows how to do that, I assume. And then when we have done a lot of that, I mean, when you bring the questions, then Chukwudi or Dr. Tanko can respond to that, can engage some more, they respond. If I want to come in, I can also come in and help with that, depending on what the question is about. Then after we've dealt with the questions for some time, we'll now move over to contributions. That's when the ideas, insights starts coming. If you have anything you would like to contribute as part what we should be doing or what we can do to strengthen what we're already doing, you can bring it after that. So this session is strictly questions, please. Strictly questions. So just make it brief, avoid any protocol, go straight to the point. Sometimes you might decide to mention who you are directing the question to, or you can just throw it up there and anybody can pick it up and answer. So we will start with, let me just say this. We have a ground rules. I laid it down in the beginning. This is a civil conversation, so we have to respect ourselves,
leaders democratically. So we in the diaspora, we've been doing everything. I want to also thank all my fellow leaders in the diaspora, those in the UK, especially those of you who did the protest in front of the parliament.
Elvis, please save our time. Let's go.
Yes, I'll save your time, but Anela have. This is also a movement of the business. So just let's do it like we okay. I've not even spoken for one minute. Okay, we are doing an obedient movement and it's an update. That's what's the topic.
Remember what I said.
So we need to also
hold on, please. Remember what I said.
But let me just ask my question.
Okay, go on.
So no, my brother, don't do like this, okay. We've used one.
We will do that. We will do
that. But introduction is an introduction before you ask the question, okay?
It's not like we don't.
If you have allowed me, I would have ended.
Hold on. This is the reason why I'm doing this. We will have more than 20 or 25 people coming here to speak. And if everybody follows your step, we're not going to be able to exhaust this in 4 hours.
Yeah, but you can give people you can give people like 2 minutes or 1 minute.
So what we can do is deal with the questions first. We'll come back when we now talk about our contributions. Do you understand? That's the order of the conversation, please.
Lord, thank you very much.
All right, who would like to respond? Dr. Tanko, would you like to respond, or Chukwudi?
Okay, so I'd just like to comment because there's something I think we want to try to do to structure these conversations to help everybody, because